Okay, are we live now? Okay, for whatever reason, it's now working on Twitch. Ugh, I hate computers. I swear, computers hate me. For one reason. Yes, the SpongeBob. Like, SpongeBob, we aren't cavemen. We have technology. Ugh. Well, those of you who are going to watch this on Twitch, okay, yeah, it says you're live, but nothing is being displayed on Twitch. What the heck? Oh my gosh. This is driving me insane. You know what? I'll deal with it later. I'm not gonna be playing these games all day. Alright. Well, here we are. So, oh god. You know, my day was going so well, and then this happens. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but anyway. So as you can see, today we are doing my first ever Handcam unboxing and review stream. So it's already going off to a great start. But today, we are looking at the Blue Eyes White Destiny structured deck. And there is a little bit of lore to this, I believe, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But first things first, looking right at this, we're gonna look at the box first. From a marketing standpoint, look at it, title Blue Eyes White Destiny, and so I guess we should do a little bit of the lore first. That way, anyone who isn't familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, if you're watching this, you're probably like, hey, what the heck is this? So basically, Yu-Gi-Oh is a trading card game, and Blue Eyes, the name of the dragon here, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue eyes, and it's a white dragon. This guy right here, you can't really see because of my little chat box, is the original Blue Eyes White Dragon from the first series run of Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, quickly, just right off the bat, and actually, here is an original, and it's a holographic, so you can't probably see the coloring as well due to the lighting. But now, if you were going to put these two side by side right away, if I was to ask you which do you think is the Blue Eyes White Dragon, you would probably pick this one, and I wouldn't blame you, because this one obviously is more of a white than these dragons, but which is always kind of funny, because anytime in the anime, even as a kid, I'm like, that dragon looks more blue than white, but it is what it is. Nothing really too much to say about that. But anyway, so yeah, marketing. You look at this, you see a dragon, and you see a pretty girl, and this, I believe, and you know what? Before I get, let's just flip it over quick. I'm just going off survival mode at this point. And at the back you have details on what's in the what monsters and spell and trap cards are in the deck. And for those of you who don't know, structure decks, these are pretty much pre-made decks built for new learners, for new players who want to learn how the game works, and just the general understanding of the game. Now, structure decks, when it comes to competitive, these are really the best in a competitive tournament type thing, though I am more of a very casual player of the game. And here's a description of what to expect. It says, prepare yourself for the next chapter of the Blue Eyes White Dragon strategy. This 50 card deck has everything you need to advance your Blue Eyes White Dragons to their next stage of invincibility, including fusion, ritual, synchro, XYZ, and link monsters. Dominate your duels with the original engine of destruction. And quickly mention, this is a sequel to an Blue Eyes structure deck that came out a handful of years ago, and actually one of the things we're going to do today, depending on time permitting, is to go over my Blue Eyes deck right here and see maybe how I can take some of these cards and integrate them into this deck. But so yeah, as I was saying, so this character, if you go down here to the list, let's quickly go through the list of cards. So you have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, 1 Neo Kaiser Seahorse, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, Dragon Spirit of White, and keep this the word spirit in mind. Sorry if you can't see the list. Again, first time doing this, so I apologize if I'm not keeping things in camera focus. But yeah, the word spirit here is going to be a big factor in this deck, so just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye out for that. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. So there's 2 different Chaos Dragons. So Max is probably the big, badder brother or cousin to this one. The White Stone of Legend, the White Stone of Ancients, 3 Sages with Eyes of Blue, Master of Eyes of Blue, 2 Director of D's, Nibiru, the Primal Being, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 Effect of Valor, and Maiden of White. And this, I believe, is the Maiden of White, which is a retool of Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Now, here's some of the lore from the anime. So in the series, you have this character named Kaiba, and this is more for the people who have never watched anime who are watching this video. But those who've seen the anime, you know what I'm talking about. But this is based off Kaiba's ancestor, whose name is Seto. Essentially his girlfriend for might as well just call it what it is. The 2 characters had feelings for each other in the show. Well, in ancient Egypt, you had people who had essentially spirit animals inside them, or in this case, monsters. And some of those monsters that spirit monsters that lived inside them, Red Eyes is better. Yeah, bad boy. Actually, thank you for bringing up Red Eyes, because I'll get back to Maiden of Blue here for a second. But part of the lore too, though, with Red Eyes is that in the original run, between these two dragons here, there was a bit of a rivalry between these 2 dragons. It's like Blue Eyes between the 2 is the more, when it comes to terms of power, just sheer power output, Blue Eyes was the more powerful between the two. There was a saying, I can't remember if it was actually in lore or not, but while Blue Eyes boasts in power, Red Eyes boasts in potential, and you had a bunch of variations of Red Eyes just to compensate the power gap between the Red Eyes Black Dragon and Blue Eyes. But that's like early 2000s, and you fast forward to 2025, and Blue Eyes has got like as equal or more card supports than his Red Eyes counterpart. It's like no, Red Eyes always it. Honestly, though, that actually makes sense because Kaiba, Joey Wheeler, the character who was the owner of Red Eyes, like Kaiba just looked down on him. He thought he was like, there is no way a loser like you should be in the same league as me, and would just do anything he could do to mock Wheeler. And so it's really fitting that Blue Eyes has all these things that Red Eyes was supposed to have. It's like the reality is meeting the show. But anyway, getting back to Maiden of Eyes of Blue, Kasara, this was the girl in the show's name. Well, 4Kids TV, they tried to censor it, make it a little more kid friendly, and you'll say what you want about the 4Kids TV dub of the show. It's one of that's where I first got introduced to Yu-Gi-Oh, so it holds a special place in my heart, even though some of the dialogue was cheesy. But it's part of its charm. But anyway, well, she died, and essentially, though, her spirit, her soul, became the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And so this kind of goes, this is why this character is kind of important for this deck. Wait, I just realized something. This character, Kasara, or Kaiba, Seto, and Sokka from Avatar pretty much had the same thing going on. They both had girlfriends who died, and their spirits essentially became supernatural entities. There's some similarities between the two. That thought just popped in my head. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. Let's stay focused. And then we got the spell and trap cards. Spell and trap cards. These are to assist your monsters on the field, either to strengthen your side of the board or weaken your opponent's side of the board. As for spell cards, we have Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, Chaos Form, two Ultimate Fusions, the Melody of Awakening two Melody of Awakening Dragons, Mausoleum of White, Burst Stream of Destruction, two trade-ins, Called by the Grave, and Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Trap cards, Majesty of White Dragons, True Light, Ultimate Creature of the Ultimate Creature of Destruction, Destined Rivals, and Infinite Impairments. I believe that's how you pronounce that word. And Extra Deck. These are more your specialty monsters. That's like your fusions, your XYZs, and these other type of monsters. I'm not really gonna get into all those details just because I even have a hard time understanding what Link and XYZ summoning is. It's like there's rule books and guidebooks in the box that will help explain what these monsters are or what those are. But anyway, we have Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon, Spirit with Eyes of Blue, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, Heretical Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, and Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Now, of course, as I said earlier, Spirit Dragon, this is kind of like how I mentioned how Maiden with Eyes of Blue, or even Maiden of White, how like in the anime, Kasara, when she died, her spirit became the Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is kind of going even deeper into that story. And so, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. I don't want to destroy the box. Come on. Okay, no, never mind. There is no rule book guide in this box. The last structure deck I got I did have a guidebook in mind, so I apologize for misleading you there. But of course, you can get the official. But yeah, just follow this. Get Yu-Gi-Oh! Nero that has the. It's an app that you can get where you can get the rules and all that other fun stuff. So let's see. Okay, here is. Let's take a look at this. And this is Wishes for Eyes of Blue. It's a spell card. Oh my gosh. Getting my butt kicked by a rapper. Again, this kind of tells you how my day has turned. It's a pretty simple, easy day, and then all of a sudden, bam, my life gets turned upside down. Alright. Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Discard one card, add one level 1 light tutor and 1 spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Wishes for Eyes of Blue. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon you control. Equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equipped spell that gives it 400 attack. You can only use each effect Wishes for Eyes of Blue once per turn. Okay. Alright, so, straight, it's pretty straightforward. You can take a monster, you put this on the field, grab put cards from your deck, put on your hand, then you can take a monster from your extra deck, those special monsters, and make your Blue Eyes on the field a little bit more stronger. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty nice. That's pretty neat. Ugh. Alright, oh gosh. Come on, open up. There we go. And so I for the most part, I think I have now with including this deck. I think I have like almost every single Blue Eyes card. I'm sure there's a couple I'm missing. But all right, let's take a look through this. Okay, this is one of those XYZ monsters. It's basically how they describe it is you attach 2 monsters together to create another monster. But yeah, I don't fully understand it either myself. But Indigo Silver Eyes Dragon. That's what this is. Again, I apologize. These holographic cards, when light hits them, it doesn't do really good for the camera. But it's a dragon. It's a dragon type. That's XYZ, and it's an effect monster. Effect monsters are ones that have special abilities, where like Blue Eyes right here is just a regular monster. All he does is attack and defend. Alright, so to summon this, you need 2 level 8 dragon monsters. And so let's count how many stars here. These the stars here indicate what level your monster type is, or what level your monster is for you non-Yu-Gi-Oh players. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you would need, for example, 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons to summon this guy. But anyway, let's see. Cannot attack directly unless this card has a normal monster as material. So you're going to need at least one of these guys. You can only use each of the following effects of Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon once per turn. If this card is XYZ summoned, you can negate the effect of all face-up cards your opponent controls. Ooh, that's actually will come in handy. You can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 normal monster. In your graveyard or banishment. Banish means outside. Special summon it, and if you do, it gains 1,000 attack points. Okay, for example, say you have 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons as material, and you have another one that's in your graveyard or was banished, well, you can bring that back, and then that monster, say I had a third Blue Eyes in my graveyard, you can bring that out. He gets his attack points goes from 3,000 to 4,000. So that's actually really, that's pretty nifty actually. So your opponent is getting the upper hand, and then you have all those effect cards on the field. Well, this guy is gonna neutralize all them, at least on him. They can't use it on him, so you gotta be a little careful with that. You don't want to get that confused with that all your monsters are going to be unaffected. It's just that, oh no, you negate. No, never mind. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. That's you got to read cards very carefully. No, it does negate the effects on the field. So your monster, the monster you bring back from the graveyard, whatever, he's safe. So that's a bit of a game changer right there. So that's actually a pretty useful card. Gotta try to figure out how to properly incorporate him into my deck. That's definitely one I want to put in there. Alright, what's next on the list? We got Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Dragon Link type effect. 1 level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster. You cannot special summon except dragon monsters. So yeah, when this guy is on the field, the only type of monsters you can summon are dragon or spellcaster. No other types. You can only use each of the following effects of Spirit with Eyes of Blue once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can take 1 Mausoleum of White from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can tribute this card, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you special summon an effect monster from your graveyard by this effect, it cannot attack and its effects are negated. Okay, so just grabbing resources to get your Blue Eyes onto the field, alright. But you gotta be careful, because if you have a Blue Eyes monster that has, or he's an indigo, so he doesn't really count, but let's say this was a Blue Eyes that had an effect ability, well, his effects are just rendered useless, so you want to be a little careful on that. But Link monsters, I have a really hard time playing because I just don't fully understand them for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but I just struggle with understanding Link monsters. So this is what I'm probably gonna have to practice. Practice learning how to use properly. But the Lady of the Hour is here with Maiden of White. Light type. Of course, I forgot to mention, these little symbols up here indicate what elemental type there is. And she is a light 1-star, spellcaster, tuner, and effect. Let's see. And yeah, you put them side by side. They're practically the same. They're the same person, it's just different clothing. Well, let's see. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Place 1 true light from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap zone. If you special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, quick effect, you can special summon special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon or 1 level 1 light tuner from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Maiden of White once per turn. Okay, again, similar to Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Just gather resources to get those Blue Eyes dragons on the field, just because the thing about Blue Eyes normally is because of all these basically Blue Eyes is so hard to get on the field just because of how resourceful or resource usage these guys take, and you need 3 of them. That usually requires 9 monsters altogether to get 3 Blue Eyes on the field. So these cards, just to help get Blue Eyes out of the field, you know, is actually very, very useful. I really like that. But let's see, I forgot. Let's read the comparison to the original here. Say when this card is targeted for attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card. Then you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard during another player's turn. When a card or effect is activated and targets this face-up card, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Blue Eyes from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only... Okay. So basically this one can do the same thing, except, well, this one can negate... hold on, let me make sure I read this card right. Yeah, you know, while this one can negate, this one can allow you to gather, you know, support material to put on your board, but they both can still summon a Blue Eyes from deck, hand, or graveyard. So there are some similarities between these two ladies, but there are some differences as well. We got another Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Okay, ooh. Here is the big boy. The newest Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon has entered the playing field, and I'll get the other ones out here. There we go. We got the original. I already have Neo Blue Eyes White Dragon. And we have Blue Eyes Alternate. Ooh, Shiden, thank you for subscribing. You know, really means a lot to me. Thank you once again. Blue Eyes Alternate. Ugh, gosh. Ugh. Learn how to breathe, D-Rex. Slow down. Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Now, personally, I think this is the strongest, but maybe this one will change my mind. What? So, like I said, what deck I specialize was again. I am very casual in Yu-Gi-Oh. When I play Yu-Gi-Oh, it's mostly with my brother and, you know, some of his friends, but I primarily use either a Blue Eyes Dark Magician, Buster Blader, or okay, let me back up. So I'll list the ones that I use, because when I first got, because actually it was my brother, one of my brothers who actually got me to kind of get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, because he wanted to learn how to play it, and it was a Blue Eyes deck. You know, Blue Eyes was the first one I used at the time, but now, because since he knows I use Blue Eyes a lot, he always has cards in his deck to combat my Blue Eyes. So I've had to, you know, switch my decks every now and then. But Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, Dark Magician, Buster Blader, and the King's Knight, Jack's Knight, and Queen's Knight decks. Sometimes I will try to mix those all together, though I have been playing with the Shining Sarcophagus decks. Yugi's deck. You know, I have the actually, no, I don't have them with me right now. But I've been dabbling with that one a little bit, trying to learn how to play that one more. But anyway, let's get back to Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. This is a level 12 light dragon synchro monster. 2 tuners plus 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes monster. Alright, your opponent. So you need at least 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon and 2 tuner types. Okay. Or just any Blue Eyes monster in general. Anyway. Your opponent cannot banish cards from your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon once per turn. When a card or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, this card gains 1000 attack until the end of this turn. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you could special summon one light dragon monster from your graveyard, except Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Okay, this one's not too bad. Your monster gains 1000 attack points, but now, but between all the other versions of Blue Eyes Ultimate here, this is actually the weakest. Because if you look at these three, if you look at the card descriptions of these three, their attacks are at 4,500, but while Blue Eyes Spirit here is only 3,500, only 500 attack points stronger than a normal Blue Eyes. But this kind of makes sense, is because it's a spirit form, as we mentioned, so a little bit stronger with the fact that it has special abilities and stuff. But how does this compare, though, its effect compare to the other versions of Blue Eyes Ultimate? Well, let's see here. Let's start with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon here. It requires 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to summon. At the end of the damage step, if this is the only face-up card you control and this fusion summon card attack, you can send 1 Blue Eyes Fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. This card can attack again in a row, so it can make a second attack. You can use this effect of Neo Blue Eyes Dragon up to twice per turn, so you can make a total of 3 attacks in one turn. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, then that targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Alright. And then lastly, what I honestly think so far is the most powerful Blue Eyes card in existence. Requires 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Your opponent cannot target or destroy this card with card effects. Once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card was fusion summoned using a monster whose original name is Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon as material, you can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls instead. So you can destroy 3 monster cards simultaneously. This card cannot attack the turn this is activated. Okay. So I guess it all really depends on your play style or how you want to play the Blue Eyes deck. Now, personally, between all the Ultimate Dragons so far, there's a couple of Ultimate Dragon fusions that I do not have, but I want to get at some point. This one, personally, I think is better than this one. Not to say that this one is completely useless. You play your cards, right. Pardon the pun. This guy could be very, handy. But let me read the description again here, quick. So he does gain that. He can gain that 1,000 attack points, but again, when you already got guys on there on the field who can already do significant damage, I guess it's like if you did not have this guy in your deck, these two working together, I think would just dominate the field. But if you already have this guy who cannot be targeted by card effects and stuff like that, cannot be targeted or destroyed with card effects, personally I would always choose this Blue Eyes over these two. But if you did not have this guy in your deck, having these two together, or just having this guy on the field, I think would be a very big game changer. So yeah, if you don't have Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate, I think this guy would be a very good card to have. But again, I would have to try using this in a game against my brother or one of his friends just to see how effective this guy would actually be. But I mean, still a good card, but I don't think as good as some of the others. I mean, better than Blue Eyes, the normal Blue Eyes Ultimate, who can only attack. This one, he can actually like negate effects. So, all right, let's look at some other cards here. Oh, look at this. Sorry, we got. Oh, look, we got 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, but all 3 have different artwork. This is actually, I was not expecting that. Oh, that's a nice treat. You see, that is this one right down here. I believe this is the. So if I remember correctly, this was the first design that was printed out. And I want to say this one was the second. This one was the third. And this one came either after that. But this is a nice treat to get different artwork of Blue Eyes. In terms of design, I think this one's probably my favorite. Besides the classic there. Like, that's nice. There you go, Neo Kaiser Seahorse. 4-star light type. Now this is a upgraded version of Kaiser Seahorse. There was another monster called Kaiser Seahorse where it could be used as a 2 tribute. Was it a 2 tribute? I can't remember for sure. But wait, do I have Kaiser in my deck? In my original Blue Eyes deck? I thought I have him in here. Let me see if I can find him. I could have sworn that he was in this deck. Ah, yep, here he is. So a lot of retools, retrains of some of the classics here. So a Kaiser Seahorse, can be treated as a 2 tribute for the tribute summon of a light monster. So Kaiser will be used as 2 tribute for, or at least Blue Eyes, if it's a level 8, he would require 3 monsters to summon. So Kaiser will automatically take 2 of those, the original. But this one says, if you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target 1 light tuner you control, increase or decrease its level by 1. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send 1 Blue Eyes monster or 1 monster that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to the graveyard, except Neo Kaiser Seahorse. You can only use each effect of Neo Kaiser Seahorse once per turn. Okay. Not really sure how I would utilize this in my deck. Increase its level by 1. Increase or decrease. I guess these would be probably like trick plays. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I prefer this one over this one, but I'm sure there'll be someone out there who goes like, "Oh, you could do this, this, and this." Maybe as we go through the deck, maybe my opinion will change. Here we got some of our next cards here. Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. Special summon in defense 1 Blue-Eyed monster from your deck, graveyard, or banishment. But if you control no Blue Eyes White Dragon, You can only special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon with this effect. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except dragon monsters. But if you're using a Blue Eyes deck, then you should only have dragons in your extra deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a Blue Eyes monster. So you need at least one. So you can use this as a fusion spell as long as you have one Blue Eyes on the field. So that's kind of a way to get around it. You can have two substitutes. You can only use one Roar of the Blue Eyes Dragons per effect per turn, and only once that turn. So you can only, so you have to be you need to pick which effect you want to use. So you gotta just basically make your timing just right. That's okay. So yeah, if you have no Blue Eye monsters on the field, you can only summon Blue Eyes. So depending on what your strategy is, if you just want to get a Blue Eyes on the field and Bob's your uncle, you got a powerhouse right there then, but if you want some extra support or cards that can help you grab more material, then yeah, I think this would be a useful card. Again, I'd have to mingle around to see exactly how I would probably play that. Water, drink some water. Alright, Majesty of the White Dragons. Show up to 3 of the Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. Face up in your hand, face up monster zone and or graveyard. Then destroy an equal number of cards your opponent controls. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Ritual summon one ritual monster from your hand by attributing Blue Eyes White Dragons from your hand or field whose total level equals it. You can only use each effect of Majesty of White Dragon once per turn. Ooh. Ooh. I like this card. So, at the risk of, showing what you have, you could, depending on what your opponent is doing, you could really, mess up their strategy by doing this. It's like, oh, you got that strategy going on? Well, here's the number of Blue Eyes Dragons I have. I'm going to take away the cards that are vital to that strategy of yours and, put a little kink in the chain there. And then, of course, if you have card, you could ritual summon a monster. Of course, your Blue Eyes will have to go to the graveyard, but if you have cards that can pull those Blue Eyes right back out of the graveyard, you could really load your field with some powerful monsters. Oh, this is actually, I think this is a decent card. It's actually a nice one. Alright. Alright, here we go. Blue Eyes Alternate Dragon. Cannot be normal summon set. Must first be special summon from your hand by revealing Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. Yeah, okay, I just realized that the chat isn't appearing on the stream. What the heck? Again, another tech issue. Ugh. I keep checking these over and over to make sure they are working, and it's like every single time I check. Okay, well apparently they're showing up here. Okay. You know, maybe it will work this time. Maybe. I hope. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Okay, we're gonna... Okay, we're gonna see if that works. Alright, anyway, back to it. So yeah, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. I already got like 4 of these guys already. You have to reveal Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, then you can special summon it. This card becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while on the field or in graveyard. You can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, but you cannot attack when you activate this effect. You know, I think that's a pretty useful. I always think this guy is always useful. He kind of a freebie. You can summon this really powerful and somewhat versatile monster onto the field to just clear out your opponent's monsters. But of course, if they have card effects, then you gotta be careful when you utilize this guy. All right. Let me look for some dragons that I haven't. Some of the cards I haven't seen before. Like, oh, here we go. The Chaos Dragons. Chaos Dragons. Alright. Alright, so this is the original Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This came out with the first structured deck. If I remember correctly, yeah, this came out, or my first copy came with the first Blue Eyes structured deck that I got. I can't remember for sure if this came out before that or not, but let's see. Let's look at the difference between the two. Like, look at the artwork. Honestly, both artwork just say these things are imposing. Like, don't mess with them. But I think this one looks a little bit more. I don't know. I just like the design of this one just a little more than this one. I can't really put my finger on it. But let's see what's the difference between these two Chaos Dragons. Let's see what does the first one say. You can ritual summon this card with Chaos form. Must be ritual summoned. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If this card attacks a defense monster, inflict double piercing damage. Yow. So, okay. So let's see. Okay, honestly, I've never actually. So the thing is, I never really liked ritual monsters, just because this was back when I was a kid, just because I could never get the cards to summon them, so I kind of just threw these off to the side. But now that I actually read this, I've slept on this guy. And I am ashamed that I have slept on Chaos Max Dragon here. I need to start utilizing him in my decks more often. Because, like, dang, so your monster has 2,000 defense points. Well, you basically, if you inflict then 2,000 damage on him through piercing, you double that. That's 4,000 damage right there. Shikes. All right, well, let's see what his cousin here can do. You can ritual this card with Chaos form. Must be ritual summoned. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, the same as Chaos Max. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If this card was ritual summoned using Blue Eyes White Dragon, when it declares an attack, you can change the battle position as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, the attack and defense of those monsters becomes zero. Also, this turn, if this card attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. Okay. Ooh. This is equally just as good. Dang. Okay, for some, I gotta figure out what's going on with my chat box. Why the chat box isn't popping up on the stream. Ugh. Again, maybe this is a sign for me. Maybe this is a sign that I need to rethink my life choices. Ugh. But anyway, gotta keep moving on. I'm just gonna take the chat box off this stream. All right, let's. Oh, okay. So both of these are really good. One, you can double the damage your opponent receives. Well, okay, there's another thing you gotta look at. So this one has 3,000 attack. This one has 4,000 attack. Ooh. So you can either double the damage or. Ooh. So say your opponent's monsters are in defensive position, well, turn them into attack position. Well, their attack points become 0 when you attack. They get 3,000 damage. It'll be really. Oh, it would be just a complete nightmare fuel as if you could get both these guys on the field at the same time. Oh my gosh, that would be a living nightmare. This guy just makes all of the monsters attack and defense points 0, and you just send this guy in to clean house. Oh my gosh, that would be an epic play on so many levels. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to start utilizing these ritual monsters in my deck. Ooh, little brother, if you're watching, look out, because I'm gonna start using these ritual monsters in my Blue Eyes deck. These guys are definitely going in my Blue Eyes deck. Okay, what are some of the other monsters that I haven't? They're in this deck that weren't in here before. Okay, here we go. Some of the cards I haven't used before. Okay, yeah, that's Chaos Form. That's what you need to use to summon a Chaos, a Chaos Dragon, or a Blackluster Soldier. Ooh. I better take a look at my Blue Eyes deck, or my Dark Magician deck. Maybe see if I have if I have any ritual monsters in there. Alright, Ultimate Fusion. During main phase, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that matches Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material. By shuffling the material mentioned in it from your hand, field, or graveyard into the deck. Then you destroy face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of blue. Oh, dang! This is a good card. It's like you could potentially, so you just put them all back in your deck. Fusion summon a Blue Eyes Dragon on the field, and then you can destroy as many cards as you want. It doesn't have to be just monsters. It can be spell or traps. Yo. And then you could potentially get. It's like how many? Oh, there's 2 of these. So you potentially could get as many. You could get quite a few different fusions of Blue Eyes on the field. Oh my gosh! You play your cards right. You could just this is, I guess, yeah, because of how high cost Blue Eyes is, you would need materials like this to just bypass the tributes to summon them. Yo, these are good card. This is a good card. Definitely gonna be putting that into my deck. All right. Here's another card that I currently do not have, or didn't have until now. Mausoleum of White. During your main phase, you can normals. Sorry, I'll try to keep it in view of the camera. You can normal summon one level 1 light tuner in addition to your normal summon set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster you control. Send one normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, the target monster gains attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard by 100. Okay, so let's say target one face-up monster you control and set one normal. So one normal. Okay, so it has to be a non-effect monster sent to the graveyard. So say it was like a regular blue eyes white dragon, you send them to the graveyard, your monster would get 800 attack points. Okay, until the end of this turn. Even if this card leaves the field, you can banish this card from your hand, from your graveyard, add one burst stream of destruction from your deck to your hand. Okay, and burst stream of destruction, that just allows you to destroy all your opponent's monsters on the field, but you have to have a blue eyes white dragon in order to do that. And this card has actually saved me a lot, quite a few times. I remember my brother, I can't remember what deck he was using, but he got quite a few monsters on the field, and he thought by the next turn he was gonna annihilate me, and I only had one blue eyes on the field. I just so had the heart of the cards were with me that day, and I happened to get this card, and oh my gosh, the look on his face when I wiped out all of his monsters with this spell card. Oh, it was like, oh, it's burned into my soul, the look on his face. Oh. Okay, let's see. What are some of the other newer cards that I do not have? Oh, wait a minute. I think. Okay, here we go. Effect Velar Light Element, 1 star, Spellcaster Tuner effect. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one effect monster your opponent controls to negate the effects of that face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Okay. If you're playing against someone who has a lot of effect monsters, this would be, and you're trying to protect your blue eyes white dragons, this guy would come in handy just to buy you time to try to get rid of it. And then Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, level 3 fire type, zombie tuner. When a card or effect is activated but that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate that effect. So the card that's activated has to have these effects, if I read that correctly. Add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, send a card from the deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring once per turn. So basically you're shutting down your opponent's ability to special summon or whatever. Okay. You can be a bit of a troll with this card. And if you play this card just right, yeah, you could devastate someone's gameplay. One thing that I have learned is that these weak attack monsters, because as a kid I was just all about sheer power, just using a blue eyes. But as I because I am playing it more often now a little bit, cards like this are a huge game changer despite not having much, despite not having like zero attack. It's these abilities that really can change the course of a duel. So this is a decent one. I think. Alright, who else we got in here? Alright, you know, the rest of these cards I already have. You know, True Light. Your opponent cannot target your blue eyes white dragons, right? Yeah, most of these I already have. Oh, here's a. There you can. Here's what the Neo blue eyes all. You can have a better look at him without his shininess blinding you. Okay, but I don't think I have this card. I might have him in one of my extra decks, but Heretic's Heriatic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. Yomi's Ship is the best card. Yomi's Ship. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I know that card. Like I said, it's been like I'm a very casual player. So let me look it up. You know, the name sounds familiar. Oh, that one. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I thought I recognized that name. When this card is sent to the graveyard, resolve the battle, destroy the monster that destroyed this monster. Oh yeah, but I mean, there's so many cards that could shut down that ability to protect your monsters. So I'm sure in like early Yu-Gi-Oh! Haha, yeah, ha ha ha. Laugh it up, laugh it up. You know, early Yu-Gi-Oh! Yomi was probably a very devastating card, but you know, modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! That card really isn't worth squat. Okay, well. Alright, let me just scroll through the cards again here quick to make sure I didn't miss any that I haven't used before or played. Well, I guess since they're, I'll show and we can discuss these guys. Oh wait a minute! I forgot to finish reading the Heriatic Seal. I forgot to read this card. So, once true dragon monsters. If this card is in the extra monster zone, quick effect. You can attribute one monster from your hand or field. Return one face-up card on the field to the hand. If this card is tributed, special summon one dragon monster from your hand or deck and make its attack and defense 0. You can only use this effect of Heriatic Seal once per turn. Yeah, disabling abilities, that is, a very powerful effect. Heriatic Seal, I don't know how I would use this card with a Blue Eyes deck, since Blue Eyes is all about just sheer power to make your monster's ability 0 or attacking defense 0. I don't know. I'm sure there's someone else out there who would do a very better job of utilizing this card than me. But me personally, just how I play a Blue Eyes deck, I don't think I could utilize this card very well. But hey, if you're someone who would uses this card in your Blue Eyes deck, just let me know. And yeah, like how would you utilize this card in your Blue Eyes deck? But you know, since we earlier though we were talking about the Maiden of White and Maiden with Eyes of Blue, we'll talk about a couple of their friends. So like in this deck, you know, in this new Blue Eyes support deck, so in this deck and in the first Blue Eyes structure deck that came out, you had a lot of these spellcasters whose whole thing was getting Blue Eyes, you know, to the field. Why either it was summoning other level 1 monsters like Sage of Eyes of Blue or Maiden Eyes of Blue, and you know, just helping you get these the Blue Eyes onto the field. You know, you play these guys right, you can just dominate the battlefield. Yeah, Master with Eyes of Blue. When this card is over summoned, you can target one level 1 light tuner in your graveyard added to your hand. So you'll say like one of these two ladies, if they're in your graveyard, well, get them back in your hand, and as soon as you put them on the field, it will just allow you to get your Blue Eyes Dragons out. You could shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck, and then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard. So yeah, like how these if I remember. So yeah, say you have multiple Blue Eyes White Dragons in the graveyard. Well, you know, if you have her on the field, you know, you can special summon one from there, and you know, take him out of your graveyard, shuffle him into your deck, get another Blue Eyes on the field. You can only use, other than said monster, you can only use this effect. Oh, did I read that? I think I might have read that wrong. Oh, one effect monster, another effect monster. And Sage with Eyes of Blue. When this card is oversold, you could add one level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand, except Sage with Eyes of Blue. You can discard this card, then target what effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Yeah, I mean, these spellcaster Eyes of Blue guys, and combined with this Maiden of White, you know, yeah, just really useful at getting those very powerful Blue Eyes monsters onto the field. All right, but you know, that's pretty much all the monsters cards I wanted to look at, because a lot of the other ones that are listed on the box I already have, and I've already utilized them many times. But I guess that was just kind of discuss how would I utilize these in a Blue Eyes in my, like, oh gosh, it'll take, I'm gonna have to go through my entire Blue Eyes deck here and sort out which, you know, spell cards I would want to get rid of and to put these in my deck. But for sure though, I know I definitely will be putting Maiden of White and these 3 cards in my Blue Eyes deck for sure. I mean, I've really slept on these ritual monsters just because of how the disdain I had for not being able to, you know, like, summon ritual monsters when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be using these guys in my Blue Eyes deck for now on. Water break. Oh, wrong tube. And then, you know, Majesty of White Dragon. Yeah, a bit of a risky play. Revealing, I mean, unless you feel confident you can protect your Blue Eyes White Dragons, I wouldn't reveal this card. But I mean, you're that confident, you could, you'll risk showing all 3 of your blue. But again, you have all these card effects that you could pull Blue Eyes right out of the graveyard to put in your deck back on the field or your hand, I think you could play a little reckless, just a little bit, and use this card to clear out your opponent's side of the field. Oh, excuse me. All right, well, overall, my thoughts on this Blue Eyes. Oh my gosh. Hey, I apologize, guys. Oof. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to this new Blue Eye structure deck, just giving, some of these new cards that were added, or even ones that I never had before, because, Ignigo. Well, I need to look up to see if this is the. I have a feeling Ignigo Eyes was already in the game before the structure deck. No. Oh, nope. Okay, so according to this, no, I know he's brand new. He is brand new. Okay. So, yeah, dragons like Indigo and even, I mean, even if you're not going to use some of these cards, I think in your Blue Eyes deck, if you were just a collector even if you're just a collector of Blue Eyes and you don't even play a Blue Eyes, I think a lot of these cards are great additions to have. I mean, especially if you have, again, if you're just a fan of dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, I think this is a very good structure deck, especially for new players. This is a decent deck to start out with. Scale 1 to 10, I give it an 8, me personally, because there's just a couple cards here and there that I don't think I would know how to properly utilize. Like the Neo Kaiser Seahorse, I just don't see how to properly use this guy, or even the heretical seal of the heavenly spheres. But that's just me. Some of you other people who are a little more creative minded than I am, you definitely probably will be able to figure out how to utilize cards like this. Or, oh, wait a minute, I just realized, it just clicked, like how some of these sages, a lot of their abilities are useful in the graveyard. So like, oh yeah, no, you could throw these into the graveyard. Okay, I take back my statement. I could figure out how to actually use this guy properly. Okay, ready? See what happens when you just kind of talk things through and all of a sudden the answer comes to you. Well, there's at least one positive that's happened on this stream, that my brain woke up. It's like, oh, actually you could do this instead of just wasting that card. Oh, you're right, brain. Thank you for being so smart. But overall, I give it an 8. I don't think this is a bad structure deck. Just a lot more variety of Blue Eyes White Dragons is always welcome. But now, Konami, you gotta do the same for Red Eyes. I mean, this was Red Eyes' whole original shtick, was to have a bunch of variations to go up against the Blue Eyes. And now you're giving the Blue Eyes that whole thing. And again, though, as I said at the beginning of the stream, that would be such a Kaiba thing to do, just out of spite for not liking Joey. He's like, oh, your red eyes. Yeah, he's got a lot of different forms. I'm gonna do that for Blue Eyes. Pegasus, here's $5 billion. Make it happen. Well, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me for today's stream. Again, I apologize about some of the technical difficulties we had at the start. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. On some of these cards. Do you think this is a decent structure deck? Do you think it could be better? And and like so far, which of some of these cards that have been put into the Blue Eyes series, like which one is your favorite? And this is me telling you that life is a journey worth exploring. Catch you later.